Imagine the scene. After years of sacrifice, you finally realize the dream of having a home of yours, a refuge where no one can dictate rules or invade your space. Now imagine coming home after an exhaustive trip and finding your sister and brother-in-law installed as if they were the owners of the piece, with their feet on the table and the certainty that they have every right to be there. That's exactly what happened to me. And guess what? I didn't do a scandal. I didn't shout it. I didn't lose the composure. I smiled, waited for them to go out for their commitments and changed all the locks. Because this war barely started out, I came back from a 3-day trip to Ekaterinburg feeling the weight of the world on the back. The tiredness beat like waves against a pier, but the idea of reaching my corner, the one I built myself with sweat and determination, gave me the strength to move on. In the twilight, the 2-story house shone like a lighthouse of tranquility. Each brick, every detail of that place was the result of 5 years saving every penny, of nights facing extra shifts, delayed dreams, and small luxuries denied. It wasn't just a house. It was my fortress, my achievement, my sacred territory. I am 32 years old and, like my older sister, Aliona, I did not marry the first man who appeared with a car in the garage just after graduation. Nor did I follow the example of my parents, who live in debt just to maintain appearances. While they spent superfluous, I worked, folded, gave up on vacation, dinners out, new clothes. Each stored reel was a step closer to my independence. And here, after months of bureaucracy, from comings and goings to notaries, from endless negotiations with the seller, finally the dream came true. A house in Moscow, with land, garage in, above all, freedom. Only one person knew of this achievement, Grandma Zena, my unconditional ally, the only one who always believed in me. I left a key game with her, as a precaution. My parents don't even think about telling. For them, the youngest daughter is just to play the whole family, not to waste money on something so selfish as a home of her own. My mother would start her sermon on family duties. My father would calculate how much of his debts I could pay off with the entrance of the property. Aliona and Igor, of course, would cry on how the rented kitten is tight for a pregnant couple. So I kept silence. Only Grandma Zena was aware, and vowed to keep a secret. So I almost had a trick when I crossed the door and heard laughs from the kitchen. It was the voice of Aliona, loaded with that ironic tone that always left my hair standing. "It's been the right time," said Igor, as if they were the hosts. "We just settled." I was paralyzed in the hall, still squeezing the keys in hand. What the hell were they doing at my house? How had they entered? Aliona appeared in the kitchen door jamb, with that air of superiority she always had, the same expression as when children, broke my things and went unpunished. 5 months pregnant, with a tight blouse marking her belly, she looked at me like I was an intruder. "Look who arrived," he said, dragging the words. "So, was the trip good? What are you doing here?" My voice came out more rough than I wanted. Igor appeared behind her, leaning against the portal, with a can of my beer imported in his hand and that smile that asked for a punch. "Your house," he repeated, like a joke. Aliona laughed. "Wow, how are you dramatic? Since when do you hide family things? This is my house, and you are invaders," I said, feeling the rage boil. "Ah, for that," she rolled her eyes. "Only the family. What bothers you so much? Why hide such a thing? As if I should be accountable to them. As if my success was an affront. I owe no satisfaction to anyone. Now." Igor sipped his beer, smiling. "Relax, Dash. Let's not go anywhere. Someone needs to teach you what is real family." "Real family?" I repeated, unbelieving. "You broke into my house." "We didn't break into anything," Aliona replied, with the condescending tone she uses when she thinks she's dealing with an idiot. And then came the bombastic revelation. They had seen photos on Grandma Zena's cell phone, though, she took when she came to visit the house. So proud of me, posing on the porch, in the living room, in the kitchen. We showed everything to the parents. Aliona continued, with a tone of charge. They agreed. "If you're so selfish that you hide such a thing, you have certainly been reserved keys with Grandma." "Did you steal her keys?" "We took what was necessary." Igor shrugged. "Grandma Zena won't even notice." "Forget it. Easy." I looked around and felt nausea. Strange coats hanging in my outfit. Aliona's bag thrown over the room table. Dirty dishes in the sink. Delivery packaging scattered around the counter. "Where are my things?" I asked, already knowing the answer. Aliona's smile widened. "We transferred to the guest room. The main room is larger, more area, ideal for us, with the baby coming. It makes sense, don't you think?" The fury went up my throat, hot and suffocating. "Get out, now, or I call the police." Aliona laughed as if I had told the joke of the year. "Police? What's fun? And what are you going to say? That your pregnant sister came to visit you? This is not a visit. This is my house." Before I was over, She was already dialing my mother's number. Mom, Dasha has arrived. She's doing a scandal. My mother's voice echoed along the authoritative viva voce as always. Daria, stop this freshness. Your sister is pregnant, needs help. Instead of offering support, you hide a house like a crime. My parents, of course, already knew everything. Aliona had told, and they, as always, took advantage of her. You have 3 bedrooms, and your sister has nowhere to live. Final point, said my father in the background. I looked at Aliona and Igor, who delighted in the situation. That's exactly what they wanted to put me against the wall, make me give in. Wonderful, I muttered with a cold smile. Simply wonderful. Aliona illuminated. That's it. I knew you were going to understand. Let's organize everything in family. Igor added magnanimously. Don't worry. Let's find a middle ground. I grabbed my suitcase and went up to the room that apparently was mine, now the guest room. While Aliona told my mother how I had understood the situation, I began to draw my plan. They thought they had won, that I had given up. They had no idea of the mistake they had made. The night was hell. Each Aliona laugh echoing through my room. Each heavy step of Igor on my floor. The television on late in my room. They acted as owners, and I, as an unwanted guest. But when the son was born, my strategy was ready. I went down the stairs making noise on purpose, so they knew I was leaving. I found both at the table, devouring my cereals, using my dishes, having coffee from my face. Today I will be delayed. There is an urgent project at work, I warned, filling the thermos. No problem, honey, Aliona said, without even lifting her eyes. We'll ask for a pizza later. I left home and went straight to the office. But instead of sitting at my table, I entered my boss's office. Svetlana Nikolaevna, I need vacation. Family matters. Just a week. She signed the order without blinking. 5 years without taking a day off gave me this right. I went to a car rental company 3 blocks from there. I chose a discreet model, a gray Lada, nothing that called attention. Aliona and Igor knew my red car, but not that. And it was like this, without fuss, that I started to put my plan into action. Because this house is mine, and no one, absolutely no one, will take her out of me. They used my good faith to arm the scam. And the worst, they did it in my own home with my own blood. Grandma Zena's voice trembled, but each word fell like a hammer. Did you think I wouldn't notice? She pointed her finger at Aliona, then to my parents, as if cursing each one. They lied to me. They used my stew like bait. And why? His eyes, always so sweet, now burned out of indignation. Because they knew I was the only one who could still convince Dasha to lower the guard. Aliona tried to justify herself, but the grandma cut with a sudden gesture. Shut up. You have no moral to speak. Pregnant or not, you are a thief. She turned to me, and for the first time in her life, I saw tears in her eyes. Sorry, my girl. I didn't know it was like that. I didn't need to say anything. I just waved my head and finished the call to the police. It's not worth it, he said, looking at each one of them. But if any of you step on my property again, I swear I won't just call the police. I will sue invasion, for moral damage, for all that the law allows. My phone vibrated again. It was the security system. And now, if you excuse me, I have an intruder to expel. I left without looking back. There was nothing more to say. The journey, even at home, was a mist of anger and relief. When I arrived, Igor's UAZ was still stopped at the entrance, but the front door was still intact thanks to the new leaps and the security team that was already on its way. He must have heard the vehicle siren approaching, because when I sparked, Igor was already running to the car, throwing the toolbox into the back seat. His eyes found mine for a second, and for the first time, I saw fear in them. This won't be like this, shouted, knocking on the door tightly. Already stayed, I answered, without changing my voice. And next time, call the police yourself, because I won't warn you. I entered the home, raided all the doors, and activated the alarm system with a touch of my cell phone. The sound of the tires singing on the asphalt was the best song I heard that day. At night, as I had tea in my kitchen, I received a message from Aliona. You will not win. This is a matter of time. I smiled, because she didn't understand. I had already won. In this time, I would never release the guard again. The lie to deceive Dasha did not get it. My keys, stolen, out of my house. Full stop. My mother tried to argue. Daughter, you don't understand, but I got in. I understand, yes, Mom. I understand everything. Scammers have no place here. Get out, now. Aliona collapsed in tears, pleading not to call the police. Security called. I answered in a firm voice. It would give Pavlovna. It was a false alarm. I confused the keys. Cancel the call. Aliona saw it, relieved, but I was not over. If they try again, the newsletter will be registered. And this time, I won't cancel. I hugged Grandma Zena and headed at the door. She followed me to the balcony. Sorry, honey. I didn't know their plan. I know, Grandma, you're not to blame. I looked through the door glass. My parents were already digging, trying to understand how it went wrong. Do you realize them? Grandma Zena sketched an ironic smile. It's not the first time. In a week, after Grandma's Gile, I finally had my new home party. That asterisk I planned for months. I invited college friends, neighbors, and of course Grandma Zena. My parents and Aliona weren't on the list. The house turned out to be perfect for receptions. The guests were enchanted by the kitchen, the living room, the spacious backyard, the porch. Keisha brought her husband and children. The children ran through the garden as the adults toasted with wine outside. What homes Inc. Raven, commented Misha from the sales industry. It can be proud. Grandma Zena stayed late, helping to tidy up, stirring the dishes as usual. Congratulations, Dashinka. You deserve it. Thank you for defending me on the spot. I should have done it before. I was suspicious when Aliona was fleeing on her cell phone, but I never imagined that the family itself was capable. We washed the last dishes in a comfortable silence. When she left, I stayed in the room with a glass of wine. Peace. For 4 months, no contact, no connection, message or surprise visit. The cameras only registered delivery and the dogs of the neighbors. I even thought they had given up. Until Aliona had a son. I heard from V Contact, like any stranger, a picture of a wrinkled baby with dark hair and Igor's nose. Caption, Welcome to the world, Artivamka. Mom and Dad worship you. I stared at the image for a long time. A beautiful baby. All newborns are, but without any emotion other than curiosity. Technically, my nephew. But Aliona had been in charge of making us strange. A week later, a message on VK. I almost deleted without reading. By curiosity 1. Dasha. I know we didn't talk after all, but I wanted you to see Artamka. Sorry how it was over. At the time, we were desperate. I know it's no excuse, but my hormones were at the flower, and we didn't know what to do. Now we live with Igor's parents. I hope one day we reconcile. Annex 3 photos. The baby sleeping, with newborn faces, and another looking at the camera with his eyes still without focus. It took me a while to answer. Congratulations on Artamka. He is beautiful. I am happy that Igor has arranged a job and that you are restructuring. But I am not ready to pretend nothing happened. You betrayed me ugly, and that does not disappear like that. Do not hate them. You are my sister, even when one day we will be family again. But things have to be different. He was not prepared to let them come in again. Not after all. But who knows? Over time, if they learn to respect limits, something could improve. I bought a baby kit online, not extravagant, but quality. A blanket, bodies, a rattle, a stuffed giraffe. I sent Igor's parents with a card. Welcome, Artyomka, from Aunt Dasha. Aliona didn't answer, but 2 days later he posted a picture of Artyomka using the blue body with elephants I had sent. It did not mark me, did not mention the present, but I recognized the piece. For now, it was enough. Life went on. Each day, the house won me more. I planted a garden in the backyard, dominated the state-of-the-art appliances, started to receive friends for dinners. Colleagues became real friends, not just known at work. I left with some men. Nothing seriously, but it was good to choose without the shadow of family dramas. Grandma Zena appeared about twice a month. We cooked together, took care of the garden. She never touched the subject of my parents or Aliona, unless I asked. Therefore, my special thanks. She really became my family, the only one who supported my choices without trying to shape me. A year after the birth of Artamka, another message from Aliona. Short. Artem took the first steps yesterday. I thought you would like to know. It came with a video. A staggering baby giving 3 stumbling steps, falling with ass in the diaper and clapping. Wow, how he grew up. I answered. Little, but it's a beginning. A crack on the wall that separated us. I don't know if one day I will be close to Aliona again. A lot happened. Muito B. Violated. But maybe we learn at least to treat decency. Perhaps Artem grow up knowing that there is an aunt who loves him. Even if the relationship with the mother is complicated. My parents never called. Sometimes, on quiet nights, in this big and empty house, loneliness hurts. But I built the life I wanted, surrounded by people who respect me. That is enough. I recovered my house, but above all, I regained my independence. Aliona and Igor tried to use me. It didn't work out. My parents chose their side. I chose mine, and I don't regret anything.